Hello everybody, this is TechStack here, streaming from a room that's just had a bird hit the window. That was weird. I'm assuming that's what it was, either that or somebody threw a snowball at the house. So we're back in it, ready to go some more. Realized late last night, early this morning, whatever, that I had not changed the min and max angles. I think that has something to do with why it only went down and stayed down. I just had it go down again, just trying to debug why it's not going back up. If we can get that animation working, we can also get the breaking of the blocks working in the correct levels based on that. So let's see if we can do this. I wish Fiery was here so I could talk through one thing with him on this, and that is I am strongly debating adding another button to this machine specifically, and that button would be the unload button. Hey Eagle. Hey Enderman. Oh, you guys jumped around right away. I'm not used to people being here immediately. Welcome. Yeah, they do rotate really cool. Like, if you look at them, the middle one is actually rotating backwards, and the two on the sides are rotating forward. So you get this kind of like grinding counterclockwise, counter to each other effect going on. So doing that in a real machine would really eat up the rock face. So that's the reason for it. What was it saying? I'm debating whether we should add another button to this machine or eliminate its ability to drop items, spit them out. Here's why. I think there's a need to be able to control that position of that head so that it doesn't just go up and down automatically. It would be nice if it went up and down automatically, but there's no way for you to be able to mine down with this the way it's set up. Right? If we set it up so that it only goes up and down, if all you could do is this, basically, so you could do 5 high like that. If we made it so that it could go lower, then you could mine with it in such a way that you could go down a block too. And then once it goes down a block, once it dries down onto its own thing it cut into, then you could raise it back up and never go below that again, right? So you could go up further. There's no way for you to mine down. So if it's a perfectly flat world, you would sit the machine down and you could mine nothing. Unless we give it the ability to make a cut down one step. It also means you couldn't mine up with it either, right? Because if it's always going to cut those 5 blocks high, you'll never go up. Like a hotkey to make it go up and then go down. Right, and that's how, like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the mod or not enough yet. So, like, if I grab my loader, just put it there, actually spawn it in the world. TechStack's heavy machinery mod. So if I hit the space bar and I let go, if I just tap it, see it's going up slowly. That's because it responds to each individual key press, and if you hold it down, it continually moves. So I can have fine motor control over where that bucket position is. So I can say I only want to get the flatlands in front of me, but if I bring it down even lower, I can start cutting into the ground beneath that and make a ditch for me to dig down into, right? And then once I dig it far enough forward, machine pops into it, we're at that level, and now I can cut at this level, and I can keep going down or up, right? So I can turn around and cut up one so that I can make a staircase out. I think we need to have that level of control. Now, the way that all of my machines work, with the exception of one, is your sprint key, which is usually control in Minecraft, is the down function. So it'll bring the bucket down on this one. If I hold space, it raises it up. That's the controls for almost all my machines, including the planter, the harvester, the grader, I mean, everything. And if there's no blade to move or anything like that, then it's usually hold control, the down function, to do whatever that machine does. So in the case of the harvester, you hold control and it harvests. But if you hit space, then it will spit out the items that it's harvested. It spits them out in a bad spot right now, but that's besides the point. You should have another button for making it go lower, so when it is operating it up and down, you don't go any further down by mistake. Yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, oh wow, I wonder if we could do that. Yeah, it picks up the blocks and renders them in the thing. And here, I didn't show you. So the loader, I know some of you guys haven't seen this before. So if I lift it all the way up, it dumps out what was in the bucket. And then there's a dump truck that you can pick up the things, like anything that gets dropped into the back of the dump truck gets picked up. So, dump truck. So there's the dump truck. The model's a little bit funny right now. We need to fix some things on that. And then the space on the dump truck lifts the bed of the truck up, and anything that's in it, once you go all the way up with it, which is like there, it dumps it out into the world. So you can... Okay, Alan hasn't seen the mod. Let's get a drill. By hand drill or drilling rig. Let's do the drilling rig, I guess. Get some ampho. And find a mountain. There's one. I'll do the hand drill, I guess. So I'm going to drill into this. It drills back into the stone beyond this first block. Then I get ampho, and I start filling it into that. And it fills back all the way from the furthest one that you drilled back, which is like 8 blocks or something like that, max. All the way out. And then you can fill it with explosive. So that's explosive packed stone. The drilling rig does the same type of thing, but it does it with this machine. And if I hold control in this one, the arm of the drilling rig comes down and the drill bit starts to go down and actually drills a hole. You can see there's a hole in that block now. So it does a vertical hole of drilled stone. The drilled stone, again, you can right click on it and it starts filling from the bottom up back up towards you with explosives. Then if we put a lever on this, now you wouldn't normally want to be close to this, but I'm in creative so I can get away with this. All this stone right here is going to turn into explosives. No, not explosives, blasted stone. And blasted stone is like a sand entity in the world, right? So it will fall down with gravity, but it's a little different than just sand. Pick that thing up so it's not sitting here in the world. It not only falls straight down, but it also tumbles down the side of a hill. Why would you want that? Well, that's how real stone, when they blast in a stone quarry, actually behaves, right? So they blast, it falls straight down, and then it slides out into the quarry pit, and then they come up with loaders, front-end loaders like the one I got over there, and will shovel it up, and then take it over to the crusher, or to a dump truck to take it up out of the pit to a crusher, right? So the loader, which is over here, put it all the way over here, so let's get some quick blocks in. The loader can break those blocks, and it picks them up into its inventory so that you can haul the material that you just blasted out, and they tumble down and continually tumble down into the bucket. So if you had a huge pile of material, you drive into the very front of it and it starts tumbling down, and you just keep driving straight in and it all just kind of caves into the thing and picks up into the bucket. Why would you want blasted stone? Well, the stone itself isn't too useful, but the ores also become blasted. So blasted iron, blasted gold, blasted diamond, blasted lapis, etc. Those you run through my crusher, and it will double, triple, depends on what it is, the ore that you get. So in the case of iron, blasted iron, it will give you 3 iron dust. Here comes Fiery. Hey, Fiery. Maybe not. Maybe still getting up. That 3 iron dust will then be smelted into 3 iron ingots, so that 1 iron ore that you blast can be tripled. Hey, Fiery. So that's kind of the basics of the mod. There's a whole lot more to it. We've got farming and other things. So, Fiery, I'm glad you're here. Are you ready for some thinking? Or is it too early?
I can think a little bit, but I gotta get some coffee in me for some really heavy thinking.
Well, this should be pretty simple. I'm strongly debating whether or not we should do 2 things. One of those things is not have the continuous miner. We said it again. Just hold space or control or whatever it is, and it just goes up and down for you, and then you dig in a straight line.
Okay.
So explain to me why a consumer would want to get this mod to play Minecraft with heavy machinery. It's free. My mod is free. There's nothing expensive about it at all. So there, it's free, and you get more to the game. So you can do that, right? Just holding one button, and it mines at the same level you're at. But there's never the ability to go up or go down with it, because if you can't break a block lower in front of it, you can't go down a level. And I'm thinking ahead to the tier 2 level, the tier 2 dimension that we're going to create, the bleak dimension. If it's flat, you're never going to get any ore. I'm not saying like the world will be flat, but I'm saying is when you place it down, you're not going to get any ore unless you like go to a mountain. You can't go down into the world. So that's why I'm thinking maybe it should behave more like a loader, where you can control where that
arm is.
Rotating head is exactly with the control in space, and either A, there's going to be dimensions. There's not dimensions yet. Sorry, I got people talking to me in the chat already.
Yeah, I see that. I'm watching both.
Okay. We either control it like the loader, so we get that ability to have fine movements over it and say, I want to be going down into this ground one block at a time kind of thing as it staircases itself down. Or I want to go up to get out of here, right? Because you could do that too. But then there's no way to unload things automatically. So do we not let them unload automatically? Or do we add yet another button to the control scheme of this thing? And that's like the unload button in Shiu or something like that.
Well, I kind of said, you could make it more like the excavator, and the fact that you have one button that turns it on and off, and then the other two just goes up and down like normal. I seem to remember saying that like sometime yesterday, I think.
I also had the idea, and let me check this real quick. Okay, it doesn't do anything if I hit E. You know how, let me look at the tractor, the combine's inventory screen.
I see where you got the idea again from.
For what?
Because Eagle said it.
What did Eagle say? I'll go lower. Well, we started talking about it. So on this screen, what if I set like on the GUI screen that you could bring up, what if there's a config inside, like you're programming the machine to stay level? What if you use the arrows on the right side of your keyboard to move them up and down? So like,
he's probably talking about the arm.
What I'm saying is, like, there's 3 different buttons on this GUI screen. And one of the buttons is stay level. One of the buttons is descend mode, where where the 5 blocks that it's digging
goes downwards.
Is down, right? It digs down 1. And then the other button is dig up, so it's only angled up. And this is assuming where it digs makes a nice staircase and that it fits inside the staircase and all that kind of stuff.
It'd be almost like a set and forget, like a tunnel boring machine.
Right. So it's like I want a level plane operation, I want a descending operation dig, I want a ascending operation dig, something like that. And then it's still only 2 buttons to control it. And then you just pop into the GUI when you want to change it. Because I think most of the time with this type of machine, you're going to go down to where you want to dig for ores and stay on that level and just go, right?
Right.
That said, I think the most control for the player, though, is just add another button to the stinking control set that I use for unloading. And just do control in space, and it's straightforward, and then unloading things kind of confusing for this machine, and maybe we add it to others at a later point. Yeah, Fiery Tech was talking about it when I got on here. Okay. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think through what's the best way. And I'm not sure which one is the best way. I'm leaning towards another button.
I think another button would be fine. I mean, like I said, just yeah, that would be fine. Although you couldn't create something like a little pop-up menu that comes in when you get in the machine, and then you just have buttons that you can click on.
For what?
For
controlling
like you
it?
said, yeah, for controlling it.
Oh gosh.
Like one for, like
That's
you said,
completely different than all the other machines, though.
Level operation. One for, well, this is completely different than all the other machines. I mean,
right, and that's why I wanted to talk through it.
This is new territory we're jumping into with this one.
Right, and this could lead to how some of the other Tech 2 machines work, right? So if there's still the same basic controls for up and down of the business end of the machine, right? And then another button that's like an alternate button that just does some other function that's not related to actual digging. That's something that could be reusable across multiple machines, I would think.
I kind of had a dream last night about another Tier 2 machine.
What is it? I gotta get you and Blue Boy somehow be able to communicate with each other. So like you're like, can we make this machine? And he's like, yes, I'll make a model. And then I get a model, and I'm just like, what's this, Fiery? And then you tell me.
A track layer that is kind of like a TBM. Do you remember the track layer from, I think it's either Railcraft or Traincraft?
I remember the TBM from it. And I think it laid track too.
Right, it did. That's right. But it's basically that thing where you can, you know, have it dig either straight or go into a decline or an incline, you know.
What if
it obviously won't be able to do turns, but
what if there was a,
don't say rip off the tracks on this thing, because this thing's perfect the way it is.
Oh, I've already my clarity this morning compared to last night. I've got some ideas. I might hold on a sec, somebody's going to.
Okay. I'll keep him entertained with elevator music. Yeah, but elevators can already.
It's still downloading, but I can just put my headset back on. Were you making elevator music, Fiery?
Yes.
Hopefully you guys can hear the music I'm playing in the background. I turned it down the other day because it was annoying me. But I might turn too much down for the stream. A tractor has 2 buttons. I'm assuming that means buttons. What is the hydraulics one? What is hydraulics one is PTO. If you're out of the loader, you had 2 more buttons. Same synopsis with the continuous miner. Because but Fire's music is better. I missed it. Dang it.
In the recap.
Great, my video is going to be taken down for copyright claims. You're just singing someone's song. YouTube's algorithms are like analyzing that right now. I'm going to realize that it's some copyright crap.
Oh man, so many people have used that. I don't even think they would even give a care on it.
I'm just joking around anyway. So while this thing is still downloading in the background, for some reason it's like restarted itself 6 times now. The little, what do you call these? Like on the conveyor belt of this continuous miner, it's got these like little baffles that pull the material up, right?
Right.
If I took those off the actual belt and somehow rendered them instead as individual objects by themselves, one after another, I might is the big word, be able to figure out how to make those move up this thing.
That would be cool.
The thing is, I would only get them so far, and then this angle changes, and that would severely screw with my head and the ability to actually do it. So we could cut off where it's a flat part and just make it just angled, which would make my brain much happier. But it makes the model look different, right? So there is that. There's a lot of work.
I'd say like right where you were in the stream.
Oh, where the angle stops? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like literally right where the angle stops.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking, so I don't have to animate them going back, I could just put a yellow casing over the bottom side, and you don't even know it's not doing it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all, I would think.
And it should be one of those things where it's like, I animate this bar on moving up until it gets here, and then that bar just becomes down there, right? And it shouldn't have to be this thing where like I figure out, okay, the top one's at the top and these come to the bottom. It's the same thing I did with the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt is just a magical trick of replaying, like, I don't know, 10 frames or something over and over again. And it looks like it's continuously moving, because once it gets to the end, it just stops. It's back at the beginning.
It's fine, Eagle. I hate typing myself, too. Like, horribly.
Yeah, I'm used to my wife. She uses it too much. At the angle, you can make the parts invisible. Typing tastes Eagle is faster. At least for me. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Typing's faster because it usually gets across what you actually want for the most part. You don't have to sit there and proofread it as much if you're good at typing. Okay, so I'm leaning towards.
Well, we're not all like computer programmers that can type at a keyboard blind. I mean.
Well, my only reason I can do that is because when I was younger, I said to myself, if I want to do this as a job someday, I need to learn how to type. And I need to learn how to type without looking at the keyboard.
Yeah, well...
So I made myself do that.
That's where kids nowadays are actually kind of lucky, because they actually have... Most schools that I know of have an actual typing class of some sort. They didn't have that when I was a kid.
I took that as a kid, and that is not why I can type. Like, that's why I can... It gave me the pointers, like, knowing that those bumps on the keyboard actually are there for a reason. That was amazing. That's about all I got out of it. I learned to type on my own because I decided one day I wanted to be in computers, and I'm only typing on an iPhone, but it's pretty easy to type on a computer too. I do 50 words without looking. Yeah, see, I agree with you there. Like if you can learn, once you learn to type, you can type pretty efficiently by actually typing. But until you learn to type, I think what you're saying is correct. Kids these days have computers to be able to take the class and everything. But what they're disadvantaged at is their first thing that they're going to be messaging on and typing on primarily is going to be this, and it's not a right kind of typing, right? So if their job later in life becomes typing, they're going to want to type with their thumbs on a big keyboard, right? Because that's what they're used to.
Right.
But also at the same time, I'm sure text-to-speech or speech-to-text is going to get a lot better in the future. Because it's already amazing compared to what it used to be, what, 10, 15 years ago? Okay, my son's server should be up and running now. Let me message him so I don't have to run up the stairs. Should be updated. The other thing is, like, my phone, it knows what I'm going to say before I say it most of the time. I just, like, hit the first letter, couple letters, and then I can just hit the word. Anyway, so I'm leaning towards let's add another key config button, which I'm going to just default to you for unload. And
well, why are you going to default it to me? I don't know anything about this.
I can see you're fully awake now. Oh.
Actually, no, I'm not. I gotta go get some coffee.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I need coffee. My brain needs to wake up.
It was.
Like I started the pod,
fun.
so it should be done by now. Actually,
It was funny-ish.
I'm with Tech. I've had better moments.
Look at me. I've already got things figured out. Look at that. Look at that. You can change. What? Did I already do that? I never knew I did that. Whoop.
What?
Look. I've already got a key config option area. Numpad 1 is segment 1 down. Key number 7 is segment
Right, because you had
up.
to do it for the...
But I didn't know. I thought I just hard-coded them to be those numbers and you couldn't change it. I got a turret left and right, too?
Yeah, again, the...
Yeah, that is for the same machine, isn't it?
excavator.
Shows what I know about my own machines. That's how long ago I coded that.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, we don't really use it that much. I mean, it is a cool machine. Don't get me wrong. It is an awesome machine. It's even better now that it has all of those functions. It's just.
Oh, we'll create a new one, and it's going to be called Unload. Keybind Unload.
I'll be right back, though. I'm going to go get some coffee.
Okay. Keyboard dot. Come on. Eclipse, keep up with me. Key U. U. Two different buttons, one action buttons. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm behind on the messages. The mode should come up with a system to bind two keys to one button. The class is making something to do with coding, so we did at least 1 million lines of code, and it didn't work for what we were trying to achieve, so we had to look back at all the... Oh, that would stink. Two different buttons to do one action buttons. I don't know. Close it all the way, bud. Close it all the way. There we go. Okay, so, sorry. And it was one... Oh, I hate it when it's one letter being off that causes a... My Logitech cam's screwing up. There we go. Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait, I'm getting everyone's messages confused together. The mode should come... Okay, so that's... one head or a piece of equipment. Right. But think of this machine, if it was in the real world, this machine would be set up so that you can spin... You can activate the spinning head, right? And then you could activate where it's mining at. And, you know, the other thing with this is... It takes some player intervention or interactions to actually get this thing to work then. Like, and, you know, we're saying it could do a max of 5. I don't have the mod open anymore. But if you wanted to and we made the machine short enough, maybe you could get away with just doing a 3 or 4 if that's all the higher you wanted your tunnel to be. Right? You don't have to do that at 1. And my face is blue now because this thing decided to change its configuration. Configure video. The white balance is all the way off the scale. That's a little better. What if I bump up the bright? No. Bump up the contrast? Nope. So tell me there is going to be cats if there's helicopters, cars. There's a semi-truck. I haven't made an actual car. We talked about doing a ATV at one point that was supposed to be faster than anything else, but we never added it. I don't really know why. We just didn't. What is that third setting here? The string is category. Sure. Machine mod, unload. Special. There we go. And then we need to register the key binding. And do that. Okay, and then we need to go back to, not the mod key bindings, not that, the input handler. And on the machine mod writable, I need to add a boolean value to hold this. Is player pushing unload button. Right, that should do. And then in here we need to go beyond all those segments and turnings and all that stuff. Basically copy this code and say key binding turret right. Nope, we want to say unload. Hey Super Emo. The stupid unturned server for my son is acting up. Let me restart it, guys. Like, Unturned has this weird bug in its servers where you like have to hit a key, any key, in its little console window on load sometimes. UB 2018, 6 hours before it. Yep. Yep, it's only 1 o'clock here. 1:20. There we go. So that's the key bind unload is down. We're going to say you don't need to do the left thing because it's a single button, not a pair of buttons. unload button, unload button, right? And then this network, this one here, we need to change it to have that unloaded. This dot is player pushing 10:26. Is that AM? You must be on the Pacific time zone in the United States. It's over in California or Washington State or something like that. Why is there no... Okay, so that's because it's up here. Yay, we're changing network packets. This can't be bad for the server. Oh, PM. So you're an hour and a half away from midnight? Is New Year's Eve celebrated fireworks? There's fireworks in some places, yes, but it's nowhere near like what the 4th of July is in the United States. That's when our major fireworks go off. Canada, okay. Still the same time zone. Even if it's Canada. This player pushing unload. And then we need to add that to our end of our packet here. Boolean like that. And then we're gonna have to do that, and then we're gonna have to read and write it to the buffer. So we're gonna read that and we're gonna say unload. So this code that I'm writing now is basically the reason I've never added another button in a while. It's kind of a pain to have to write all of this for each individual button. It's not efficient for me to just add another button in a few seconds. Although where I am right now is one of the coldest places on the planet. I bet there was wind chill warnings here for, and it's in Fahrenheit here in the United States, right? So 10 below, which is 40 Fahrenheit degrees below freezing. 42 degrees, so that's significantly below freezing. I can say the coldest place I've ever been has been Waverly, Iowa, and that was 40 below Fahrenheit, which is also 40 below Celsius. Like at that point, that's when the two scales line up exactly. You get any colder, they go off again, and then get any warmer, they're off again, of course. Okay, so that's all good. All
right, I have back, and I'm not giving him back. Okay, he's mine now.
So you've changed back's name to mine now? Had to be done. Gotta go to dinner and see you later, pro. Happy New Year, man, if I don't see you again between now and then.
-50? Ouch.
He's in Canada, so that might be Celsius. But it's still freaking cold, because -40 Fahrenheit is -40 Celsius. I learned that the hard way one time. My engine doesn't want to start in this rental car way. Oh. Because the oil is too thick. It was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Till that sucker got warmed up for a while.
Yeah, I never had to worry about that. I had a block heater for most of my cars.
Right. This was a rental car, and it was in a place that doesn't normally get that cold, but it was that time I was there. Florida can be hot, just depends on the time of the year. Just like anywhere else. Florida's really humid though too.
Yeah. Yeah. Florida's more humid than hot. Like you want heat, go to Arizona, like Death Valley. Okay, we're talking like 120 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer. The streets are literally so hot that if you touch them, you will burn yourself.
Right, so I don't need to do with this at all because that should all be handled in this code, I think, on its update.
Yeah.
I know where I'm not going for vacation. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why anybody would go there for vacation.
Well, the air is dry, so a lot of people who have breathing problems go there.
But not Death Valley, though.
Well, not Death Valley, but I'm talking like Arizona.
Arizona, yeah. That makes more sense.
That and because of there not being like a lot of like weeds and other plant life, you know, that produce pollen.
Yeah, because everything's dead.
It's really a better place for people who have breathing problems. So.
Right. Okay, so we've already got it all figured out how to deal with the space and the control buttons. Sorry, I'm not trying to change subject fire. I'm just talking out loud. Continue.
You just don't want me to talk anymore.
I didn't say that, Fire.
I don't even care.
Look at you just being all cool. Continuous miner, so it's set up to do those blocks. Wait.
Okay, so what is it set up for now?
It's set up to do everything that the loader's doing, because I just copied the loader. What blocks don't we want this to do? There might be an easier way. It's like, this is the most powerful Tier 1 machine. Bedrock? Anything else?
Yeah. Bedrock's the only thing.
Okay. I'm not going to change it yet. I'm going to make sure I've got all the positions set up, and then I can go in and change all that massive line of code to be a not bedrock. How hot could be? How hot could it be?
No,
yeah.
it's a continuation of the last message because you're only allowed 200.
Oh. Retired a week ago. One of the plans was to go to Texas somewhere in the summer. They would come back. They ditched the plan because
And no eagle. I already put that in the stipulation. I wanted it to be able to This machine will be able to mine anything in the current world.
Should I do a explicit check for obsidian or bedrock, or should I do it? I think I should do this. I should do a check for something that is set up to be unbreakable, like bedrock. Bedrock has a special attribute about it, like its hardness or something like that, that means that it's unbreakable.
Okay.
I think if I did that check, it would play better with other mods that make things that are unbreakable.
Unbreakable?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, because I know, like, the blocks from
Thaumcraft. Those.
Yep.
Now those ones might have something else that makes them be unbreakable. Like, I need to. I'm probably doing it now on this one. There's an event you gotta call to check to see if it's breakable. Yeah, I'm calling the event, and as long as the event's not canceled, yeah, so it'll work. So this machine, the loader, and this machine, at the very least, will check to make sure that this player is allowed to break this block. So,
so that would work into spawn protection stuff too, then.
Spawn protection, or think FTB utilities where you've got a protected zone.
Yeah.
Maybe we should throw FTB utilities on the server and test it.
That'd be
I
cool.
protect my area, you try and break something in my area. If it breaks stuff, we know it's bugged and that kind of stuff. And then also, if it does work, we've got FTB utilities on there, and then we can let more people on from the stream and not have to worry about them stealing stuff.
Yep.
Until they're more trusted. Yeah, okay, so that's to the to-do list for some other time. I need to focus on this. You guys are distracting me. But This year, my grandparents made 2,000K, 200K. Best year they ever had. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let me make sure this is working for my son. Cool. I'll close that window out now. Goodbye, remote desktop.
You may or may not hear my printer in the background. Somebody may or may not need to use it.
I only hear music.
Actually, it's probably not going to be able to be heard. It's a pretty quiet one.
I need to set up ranges. So this will do 3 blocks. A lower, a mid, and an upper. The way it's set up right now. And it goes from 7 to -7. I need to set those angles back to what they were before. E dot is player
that ain't bad, Enderman.
pushing.
I wouldn't mind seeing 200K a year.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing 200K, period.
In a suitcase with unmarked bills. Minute, okay. That's right. The max angle was so high because it's when you lifted the machine, the bucket all the way up. It didn't actually break up there. Continuous miner. So 15. So if it's greater than 20, bucket is down. Greater than -20, the bucket was down. Those 2 attributes are all screwed up. That's why the loader's not working right. It only breaks if it's greater than -20. Oh wait, that makes sense now. Get minimum angle. Bucket is all the way up, okay. Min angle was -90, okay. That means the loader, no, the loader still wouldn't do that. Oh yeah, that might be cool. Let's just run this. I needed to fiddle with the numbers at runtime for this to make sense to me. So there was an area between -7 and +7 where it was at level area. So there's a 14 plus the 0, so 15 digits. So every 15 angle points is a block. And we're gonna do 5 total blocks. Okay, so that's 15 times 5. 15 times 5. 75 total thingies. The min angle then can be what? It needs to be like down something. Where's 0 showing up? That's what I need to know. So if I hold space, nothing happens. If I hold control, Nothing else happens. What? Super. Server side. By pushing the jump button. Players pushing the jump button and the current fuel level is greater than 0, then the attribute 1, it goes 1 lower, unless we're at the min angle. If the player is pushing the sprint button, which is control, attribute gets +1 unless we're at the max angle. And it gets set to the max angle. That is part of the server update code that's running all the time for this continuous miner because we're overloading that one. Okay. Why is the thing not moving? Did I take the render code out for that? Are the packets not going back and forth? No, there's no errors down there. Model continuous miner. Attribute 2. We want attribute 1. Wait. No worries. And have fun with your server, man. Can be a blast. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, the 0 orientation's off too much. So when I bring this all the way down, like all the way down. It only goes to there. Now that could be because our max angle is funky. Set to 50. TechStack, will it play nice with Rails of War mod? I have no idea. I don't know Rails of War mod, and I haven't tested this with any other mod right now. Other than like JEI and stuff like that. So our test server we have set up is for testing the changes as I'm making them. At some point, once we can become done making major changes, then I will probably add more mods to the server to test integration with other mods. I don't know if Rails of War will be one of them because I'm not familiar with that mod. But that's the plan, at least for now. That's how we're going to go about it. Okay, so we're breaking stuff down there. So we need this to be down there. So we need to, in the model, rotate it down there to match up. So we need to subtract some amount off of this. We also could do this. That may help some. Not do divide by 3. There, we're closer now. Let's, where's that? Plus 15F. This thing almost needs to break more than one spot too at a time, don't you think, Fiery? Like it breaking just one block, that block there, even though the wheel's this freaking big. You know, it probably should do like a cross pattern. That. Don't you think? Did I lose you? Maybe even like that, like a 3x3. We're halfway there. mean, that's one down too. That might be perfect. If I just broke that block, and that block, and then those two. Because that wheel is big enough to break all three. Should it be a cross, or should it be like a 3x3 cross section? So let's just use a different piece of stone here for example. Like this. I mean, if I did that, then we would get right here in this block. We would get this block down here. We would get this block, and then this block. Which that one's technically being cut by the things right now. Now as I move this forward, I know it's going to go in and out of different blocks. That's okay. But if I had it a little bit bigger than what the actual wheel was, it would seem to be more realistic, I think. So you wouldn't want it to be halfway into that block before it finally breaks it, would you? Maybe I'll try it with this and just go from there. So let's go up. It goes up way, way, way too high. So we need to set that other variable on the continuous miner. So it's going up 90 degrees plus the 15 that I'm offsetting things. Gosh, we only would probably want to go like 60 degrees or something. We're going to go 75 total. Wait, so if we set this to 0 and do model continuous and don't do plus 15. Okay. And then in this, we say 75. Is that guess what we're looking for? Come on, come back to me, Minecraft. Come back to me or just crash so we can get going. Fine. I shall crash you for you. I mean, when you're driving the thing forward into blocks, there shouldn't be a... No, you could. You could drive with it up and then bring it down across a series of blocks, and that's when it should break all of them. So it's going to have a lot of blocks that it could break in a single tick. There's ways around that. Maybe I can make it only break one of them per tick, and it kind of slows it down a bit. If
we were having printer issues.
Don't you love printers? Like, they're the worst things.
Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, it would not recognize my buddy's fucking phone. And then I was like, okay, well, there's a USB port on the front, so I'll just plug in the phone and it'll recognize it and just print, right? No. Second you plug it in, unrecognized device, please unplug. Come on.
Yeah.
So what did I miss?
Me derping, apparently, because that did not work out like I thought it would at all. So, the max angle needs to be 15? What? And 90? That makes no sense to me at all. I gotta pick this one up. Where'd it go? Race in the world.
Cross pattern? What were you talking about?
Where it's breaking stuff, it looks kind of funny right now. Like it only breaks a single block, like the loader bucket. But we're saying, you know, should it break in a cross pattern? Because the wheel is so big, it basically covers like a 3x3 cross section. Or should we do like this, and it breaks that? So should it do a cross, or should it do a 3x3?
I thought we were set at 5x5.
That's the width.
Oh.
So I'm talking like depth.
Three by three would probably be good.
So it could, in theory, if you put it inside of, like you spawned it inside of blocks and jumped in it, it could break up to 15 blocks in one tick. Right? No. 5 by 5 by 3. Gosh, it'd be 75 blocks.
Ouch. Okay, that's a little bad.
I had an idea, like maybe it only breaks one block. Like if it gets to the part where it actually breaks a block, it only does 1 per tick. Which would still go really fast.
Yeah.
Because there's 20 ticks per second. So it'd be like through all those blocks. 75 blocks, 20 ticks a second. Well, let's round it off to 80, so that's 4 seconds to do all those blocks. I don't know. We'll figure something out. You agree with Eagle, the cross pattern, huh? We'll see how that's going to work when we're actually driving through. I think it's going to give us a problem of missing some blocks that looks like it should have broke. But I need to get these angles right, and they're just confusing me. The max angle needs to be -90. Come on, spawn. There's gonna be like 15 of these things here. Unload. You got time for this?
You know, that favorite little bug of ours.
I know. Okay, that's back even further, so it does need to be lower number.
Question now.
Answer now?
Could you... I wonder, could you render a shadow underneath all of the machines, and would that help it to make the client, whatever is screwing up, realize that it's there?
No. Like, could I render a shadow? Yes, it happens now. Would it help? No.
I had to try.
When I looked at the code in the old version of Minecraft where we first had the bug, basically the client doesn't realize that that entity even exists in that chunk. Which is why when you cross the chunk, boom, it pops into existence. Because when you cross over a chunk, it says, hey, client, you should have this entity in this chunk now. And it gets loaded. But why does it ever realize it's not there? There's nothing in my code that says add this to a chunk, because Minecraft just does it itself. It's just like when you go through another portal and you're invisible for other players for a while. It's the same exact bug.
I wish Mojang had like
yes.
if they could like help modders troubleshoot problems like this.
It's beyond them to be able to do that. There's not enough people at Mojang to do that. Because they would get the kids that mod that don't know how to even do Java then, if they try to do something like that. This doesn't even
seem like a problem with your mod. This is a problem with Minecraft, really, I think.
Yepper. I think it is. I really do. Which is why I've been discouraged from trying to troubleshoot it. That's cool. It's behaving like the loader. It spit the items out on the ground when I put it all the way up. So, going from 15 down to 90 up. Well, I wanted to go 60 up. And I did that, and it didn't seem to behave right. 60 seems like a valid number to be at to get the kind of angles we were after. No, it's too high. Maybe 45.
Cooler with the cross pattern, but I think it would.
You're not going to see the pattern very well.
Right. I mean, all you're going to see is that big splitting blade in front of you anyway. Plus, it wouldn't be realistic as to how this machine actually works.
So what I think is going to happen is if you were to drive forward with it up, forgetting to bring it down, and then you brought it down, there would be some blocks that it would visually look like it's inside of, but not break. And it would be wrong because of that. It would feel wrong. So 60 is too high still. Should be like 45. Because I mean, if we only want this to go those 5 blocks up from where it's at, it should be up to, well, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. The top of that wheel should be at that height if I've done this right. Gosh, should it be like 25 then? 35? Let's try 35. This seems way too high right now. Oh dang, am I good at guessing? Nope. It's way up inside that block still. So 25? 20?
I'd say 30. If that last one was 35, I'd say it's 30.
I think that's too much still far.
How much is each block?
How much is each block?
What's
I don't know.
The number value for each block?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if anything, this will help for future calculations. Maybe throw it on a notepad when you're done.
Nope, doesn't help at all. Know why?
It's different for each?
Because each machine has a different arm length.
What's that at?
Is it 20? I mean, that looks like that's good to me because it's inside that block. So we'd want to break that block. And it's not anywhere near touching the block above it, so we wouldn't want to break the blocks up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I bring it down, and it's acting really funky right now. Like it's jerking all over the place. I think I'm getting too many machines right here that are invisible. And there's 150 entities in this area.
Oh boy.
That could be the cows and stuff too. Let's do this.
Kill all.
Kill at E. Oh, cool! It's right there. Yeah, look how many of them are on the ground as items.
Holy Jesus!
Stupid bug. I hate that bug. Okay, I'm tired of rotating these every time I place one, so let's get some dirt. And let's find that center point. Let's mark this block here, special, because that'll be where I place them. There we go. I need a command block. No, not gonna do this. I'm gonna go back out here. I'm gonna create a new super flat world. Or go into this one. I guess this will work too. I'm gonna do this in a super flat. I'm gonna create a command block that's gonna fill an area in, and then we're gonna be able to rip it out every time. So,
cool.
Kill. Command block. Let's place a button there. Do a special block there so we know where to spawn the thing. Right, and then let's spawn it. Continue. US miner. Let's get like here. Button. And we're gonna do fill. Actually, let's do this. Fill. Relative to where I'm at, relative where I'm at, relative where I'm at. I guess one in that direction. We are facing negative X. In a 3x3, break 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. The cross pattern, right? That's what you're saying? Oh no, the pattern. I see what you're saying. A rounded pattern. So you get the 7 and the 1 missing from that. So if I'm looking at my numpad on my keyboard, you're saying like that. Those characters you're sending aren't coming across to me. They're just blocks inside my chat client I'm using. Let me show you. They just all messed up. Kill, or not kill, fill. So it would be -1, -1, relative of this height, no, -1 down, and then the Z. Yeah, I know what you're doing. It's cool. The Z would be let's say -2, and then we're going to go to relative -10, relative +7, relative 5. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Minecraft dirt. A little bit tall, but it does what I was looking for. Let's do air, dirt, and then let's do relative -1. -0. There we go. So that's the command I want inside this. Really? So when we get these blocks broken out like that, we just come over here, push the button, and they reappear. Okay, so now let's get some redstone, deuced, and a pressure plate. So I can just walk over top of it. Okay, so we're breaking the blocks at the bottom.
I'm back again. I had to tell my brother something.
Okay. Okay, so what is our angle right at the moment? Let's check that. Boom. Our attribute is -20, so we're at the max right now. We've got -20 down to 15. So that's 35 units in total. We've got 5 blocks, so each one needs to be 7 tall. Right? 35 divided, yeah. So from -20 down to, we add 7 to that. 20 minus 20 plus 7 is 13. So anything that's greater than 13, we need to be Anything that's lower than 13. And it's negative. So where are we breaking a rock at right now? Well, that's true. Going into there, right? Yep. So it's setting the bucket offset to -1. The Y. We need to set it to like 3 up, I think. Something like that. So let's run this. You're not actually breaking things, or are you breaking things inside of here? You're not. Or is it because I was smart and did other things? Where are you breaking at then, dude? Jeez. Oh. That's what's wrong. We're always going to break. We don't need to check to see if it's -20 or not. No, it was that check I had in there for the 20 thing. Because the loader stops breaking blocks at a certain point as you lift it up, so that you can maneuver it over to unload it. It was from the carryover from the loader code. So it's breaking right there right now. So we need to go... Actually, that's probably the right height, but we need to go one above and one below in each pass. And these ones back here, too. So let's add that to our code, the one above and one below thing. So we need to do a big loop, basically. For... We've already got I used. We have J used. Don't see J. There's I again. Int J equals -1. J plus J is less than 2. So it'd be +1. J plus plus. I'm going to do all that. And then again, we're going to do another loop inside of that. So that is like your height offset. Then we need to do the distance offset. So we're going to do K for that. And then in this block position calculation, let's get this code a little bigger on my screen here. I can do I plus J for my height piece. I think that's my height piece. No, that's not. So there's my height. Plus J. And then our distance here is what's going to be different for the K. Plus K. Plus K. And we've got an error down here now because of what? It's I. What does it say? Multiple markers at this line? Duplicate local variable. Because we've got that integer up there, but it's outside of an if statement now, so we can just do this. Oh, we didn't put the second bracket in, did we? This one. And now it's going to go back to reverting to say it's an issue. Okay, what are we doing here, Minecraft? You're crashing on me. Cool. Let's just restart that. That could have been from all the stops and starts we did there. Could have timed out or something. Figuring out the cross pattern is a little bit more complicated too, so doing it this way is a little easier, technically. Okay, and then because we've extended back one, let's one. Let's push the button. There we go. So we've got that area that it dug out, and just that area, so it's not breaking any of those. If I sit in it and go down, it does all of that. Look at that, Fiery. It's a massive area. That's a single dig.
Nice.
And then you can go forward with it. Oh. Okay, that seemed funky. It's breaking thing. Okay, I know how to fix it. It's these pieces. These bucket offsets need to be adjusted more fine-tuned. So anything less than -13 will get a 3. The next step down, -13 plus 7 would be -6. Should be 2 steps down, or two offset, whatever. And we need to add another 7. That gives me a 1. So anything less than 1 should be a 1. Add more 7. Anything less than 8 should be a 0. And it's a +8. No worries, Benjamin. Like with my current setup, I can't tell when people are there or not. I mean, I can see that people are watching, but I don't see who it is. It never tells me. +7, that'd be 15. That'd be -1. And we didn't ever want to go lower than that -1 amount. And I don't know that we need that -1 amount at all, because we're now breaking down one below and one above automatically. So our lower number might actually need to be higher now, if that makes sense at all. Let's fill all those in. Spawn a new one. Yeah, see, it lets you go 2 down basically right now. So we'd only ever want it to be like that. So break that block then. That's what we're doing right now, Red. We're working out where it should break blocks in the world. So I think it should definitely be breaking that block there. That's no question. This block is kind of up there where it's not quite touching it yet, but it could be just a rounding thing. This block should be broken, that block should be broken. That block really shouldn't, neither should that one. We're just barely touching them. So it's kind of like we're in between blocks, I guess. Yeah, those two corners I don't think should be broken. I might agree with what Eagle was saying. That should definitely be broken though. But I think it has to do that we're exactly on a block middle. Okay, and then that's as low as it goes right now. Yeah, it should definitely break those because it's touching that block. Okay. Let's go up just a hair where it breaks the next one. We should have already broke it. We're definitely touching it. Breakpoint on each one of those.
I'll be right back, Tech.
Okay, bye. But should it be able to break blocks that are lower than the machine itself, since it can't really pick them up, can it? That is a good point. You've thought of something that we haven't yet. Like you would drop down, you would miss any blocks that dropped like in that immediate area right there, right? Like right here. And probably for the length of the machine until you, and then you start picking them up again. Because like what I'm trying to do is make it so it picks up like right here. But the problem was if it doesn't mine down, there's in the new dimension, which is what this is being added for. The new dimension, you have to have this machine to start mining there. And if you're on flat land, you can't go down into it. Happy New Year's Eve, man. Same thing with going up. You can't really mine going up until you got this. So it's like the loader. You can't go down into, and the loader's the same way. Where it picks up is way in front of it. So it's got that little gap where it won't quite pick it up when it drops down. You kind of have to fiddle with it. Like it'll pop into your inventory, okay? The other thing I could do is pick up items where it's actually spinning. That would help. Instead of picking them up there. But for now, let's see what this attribute one is. It's 6. Well, number 6. Let's try adjusting that to 5 then. I agree with everybody, it's looking good. Just needs some refinement, I think. Why are we not hitting any of those lines of code? And what is our bucket offset, or our attribute? It is set to 6. So let's step through this code. It stays at 0. This needs to be less than 7 then, doesn't it? I don't know what the 0 needs to be. Actually, we don't need a 0 because it defaults to 0. Let's get back in it. We'll lower it all the way down. Spawn all the blocks back in. And start raising it until it breaks it. Oh, it should have raised it. And it definitely should be breaking it, but it should be breaking it sooner than that. Let's try like 5. It's less than 5. No, it should already be breaking it. Because it is in that freaking block. It's at 5. You should be breaking it now. And that is at 9. That should not be breaking. What's the number? So let's say 10 is our cutoff. Let's actually run this now. Hey, bro.
I'm back, and hi, bro.
Let's go less than 11. Okay, that's a good value. There's no fine tuning these numbers to get them precise, like in the machine to make it an 11 kind of thing. That's as close as I could want that to be without breaking it. So if I can, it breaks it. Awesome. So what's the next number need to be? It should not be breaking right now, and we are at what? 0. Let's turn off the breakpoints, run the code. Still shouldn't quite be breaking it. It's my only public mod. I've made other mods for basically just my group of friends. Should be like less than -1. Boom, perfect. That's as high as we want that to be for sure. For that one. And that is at -13. You can add it to a mod pack. You can play a series out of it. I don't care.
You might want to wait for the next release, though, because it's going to include all this new stuff. The old release doesn't have any of this.
Right. Right. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have the new models. So all the machines are ugly looking.
So just what you?
It's an old version of Minecraft that doesn't have as many mods on it. It was the ugly stepchild mod version. 1.8. What's that?
Nice nickname.
Well, he was like, I was like I seen it come out.
Joking. I mean,
1710 was the version, right? And like, I'm like, oh, 1710 is the popular version, but 189's just released. I'm gonna go do that one, and I'm gonna be one of the first, so that when everybody updates, they already have my mod be there. And then nobody updated. When does this come out? When I'm ready to release it. It's gonna be, I don't know. We got some polish to do on some things. Okay, so now the downside. Is it going to work when I hit down? Oh, that's look perfect to me from here. Again. I think this thing's ready to go, Fiery. This looks like the positioning of where it breaks stuff.
Yeah, that looks pretty Billy Bob to me.
Let's try driving it forward. See when it first touches.
Oh my god, can the people in my house be any louder? I swear.
It's almost too far forward. It's too far forward. Like, it's not actually touching that block and it's breaking them. So it's not an 8, it's a 7 probably. In positions.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating. Let's touch that. We're breaking 2 blocks into this. And we're breaking the blocks back here, which aren't even being touched now. So it's a 7.5? So it's not breaking those. It's breaking those. It's breaking those. See where it first breaks the next row in. How close are we? We wouldn't want to be breaking it yet. We're good. We just broke it. We're definitely in it. I think that's good. And then, of course, I can do this. Get the angles. I mean, the angles are always going to be messed up because it's a Minecraft world, right? I think it's perfect. Anybody disagree? As far as where it should be digging?
That looks about right.
Yeah, looks great.
And let's go into this super flat world here a bit.
I mean, you won't be able to see that from the driver's perspective anyway.
Let's see what.
Where the machine is digging.
I mean, driver's seat's just off the side. Oh, like if it's in the block forward or not? Yeah. You'll have a close idea. And you can always get out of it and look at it. If you want to be picky about it and say, oh, that didn't quite touch. It just barely touched those blocks. It's good enough, though.
Tech, there's a question for you.
Who does your models? Blue Boy 17 is what he goes by. And then they get cleaned up from there. Because he uses a program that's a little bit off from what I use. But that's okay, because he makes them look cool.
Yeah,
okay.
He does. He does a really good job with it.
I know this is not ready for prime time in any means. As far as being on the server. Dang it, I loaded the same world. But I want to try it underground, actually. Or I want to try and open up a pit with it and go digging. Go mining.
Is there any way for you to add particles?
Yes.
Which is mining. Will you do that?
Particles for where it's actually digging it?
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like what kind of particle you want? Like a dust particle or something?
The normal block crack particle, which gets executed when you break a block, when you break a block. You know what I mean?
I do. That was actually working before for the bagger, and it caused a bunch of lag. More for the sounds that the block's breaking than anything. Break block utility. At one time I had the sound playing, and it sounded really cool. It was like all the blocks popping, but it was so many blocks breaking at the same time.
Yeah, you
just lagged out your sound card system.
You hit a mountainside and your computer went into overload.
Right. Now, the particles, maybe it makes sense.
Yeah, couldn't you just make like a smoke effect coming off of it?
Smoke effect.
You know, as if like, well, not a smoke effect, but like, you know how like when you're grinding on rock or something, you know, it kind of...
Right, that's what I was saying. I could do a smoke particle pretty easy. The other one might be possible that you're suggesting. I just don't know how to get the particle from that block specifically. Get part break. Like, how does it know what the particle is? Where am I spawning particles at? On my machines. Somewhere down in here. Particle. Do particle effects, and the sub has a do particle effects. So here's how you actually summon a particle in the world. If I did it in here, this would infect all machines, not just the one. I could do it down here. We don't want to do water bubble, do we? Do it at the block position.
There's a question for you, Tech. Chat.
Oh, which one? Okay, so you clean it up and make things fit your standards. Is there any way that you can making the texture, the design a bit more detailed? Currently no, because I'm not good enough at being a texture artist to do that. So right now it's just saying all of these vertexes that are yellow, basically. In order to do what you're asking, we need to UV unwrap it and then apply a texture to that. I would also say the models, because of the oddities of the way the program he uses, it creates a lot of extra vertexes, and all those extra vertexes in a UV unwrap would be horrible to try and sort out. We really don't need to do any of these calculations because it's already calculated for us in this. We just need to do a particle at the block itself that's been broken.
Do you check if there's enough space for the machine before you spawn it?
No. I should, but I don't. Read the world's a world object. Well, I'm not seeing any water bubbles. Oh, X, Y, Z, not XXX. Okay, do you think you can try something like email or tweet you with a texture? Because I think it would look so much better detailed. It would look better detailed, but it's not the texture that's the hard part. It's not just the texture, it's the UV unwrapping. So taking a 3D thing and flattening out into a 2D thing, and then painting over top of that in the right positions, because things get stretched and scaled funny and all that. Let's remove all these breakpoints, we don't need them anymore. We're going to spawn a water bubble at what position? Actually, just do Control I on that, is it? Control Shift I? Negative 47, 70, 191. Okay, F3, I'm looking at negative 40, yep, that's the block. Is it because I'm doing it before I'm setting it to air and it can't spawn inside of a block? Let's find out. Huh. Weird. Yeah, thanks for trying, man. I agree with you. It would look a lot better if like we could get some, I don't know, like the side of the block of dirt. It's not just one solid brown, right? This is all one solid yellow. If we could do something like that, it'd be cool. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. And the amount of work for UV unwrapping these, for me, it would be crazy. Just return something? It's a void. Okay. Well, let's place a block. Get that breakpoint. We'll step into the code. Do I have a public or business? Not sure what you mean. Email. Oh.
Email.
It's just my YouTube name at Gmail. It's not hard to find. Just getting all three positions. Now we're in the actual spawn particle code. Hey there.
Hello.
Hello.
Into. Nope, back out of that one. Into. So that's false. It should not ignore range. It's fine. Let's see. We can step over that one. Step into that one. It's a range check. Okay, that's for the index that it's doing. What's this size about? It's a size of 2. I need a sample of what I can do, and if you want, you could email the OBJ file and I could work on it. Right, but the OBJ, that's what I'm saying, the OBJ files are in a very big state of change at this point. Because they're new models and I keep cleaning them up more and more to remove faces and stuff.
Oh boy, we're just getting the whole gang up in here, aren't we?
What you talking about?
Tater's in here.
Oh, you just now noticed? You've been gone again?
I did. I'm sorry.
Keep disappearing on me, Fiery. Next thing you know, you're gonna run away to the carnival.
You guys in there, Carl.
You know you're never going to live that down.
I know. I realize it.
It's like the back thing, Fiery. You keep doing that, I'll keep doing this.
I have no shame, though. I don't care.
You shouldn't have any shame. I think it's just funny that, like, you disappeared for that long. You know? We can poke you for it. Well, I'm not sure why this isn't working.
I actually
right?
came back early, believe it or not. I could have been gone like 2 more months on that trip. Because my boss actually wanted me to stay up there and help him with some of the rides for refurbishing them, and I was like, no, I want to get home.
Yeah, they had nothing to do with the stuff that went down at the Columbus, right?
No,
okay.
No, we don't play that fair.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, we've never really had any accidents on ours. Like, the only accident that I remember on our show was this kid didn't listen to the ride operator and was thrashing around inside the ride and somehow got out of the restraint system and bumped their head. But it was totally their fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, our guys did all the, you know, everything they were supposed to, so. And then the other thing that happened once was I had somebody with a, somebody had a seizure on the ride that I was running.
Well, that's not an accident, though.
Right.
That's just a medical emergency kind of thing.
It's still,
got reported or whatever.
Yeah, it's still reported as a ride accident. Just because of the way that it's, that, if anything happens on a ride.
Right, in case the ride induced the seizure or something like that.
Right, whether it's our fault, their fault, you know, it doesn't matter. It's still reported as an accident.
Oh, I think I know what's up.
Well, up is the sky. Down is the ground beneath you. You make it too easy for me, Tech.
I will try harder next time. Okay, where's my call hierarchy? Call the police against Fiery. Yeah, it's on the client. It's only getting... They only get spawned on the client, but I bet that break code is only running on the server side.
Somebody named Will asked you, I'm guessing you, a question in Discord.
Right, I answered it, didn't I? Different channel, but I answered it. He asked the same question in 2 different channels.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I can maybe do something different. It wouldn't give the particle for every single block.
What particle are you thinking of?
No, I could do it. I just have to have a huge array. I don't know.
The God particle, you know, we want to create life.
There's block dust, whatever that is, so I can do that one. I'm just gonna ignore Fiery from now on the rest of the stream. Hello, Kilia. I don't want to do it there. Let's go back to the continuous miner. Oh, I can't launch. Other connection? That stinks. So do particles stuff is what I need to do. Go ahead, Fire.
Try going over to YouTube. He's on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Kilia. It might be easier for you to watch on there.
TechStackLP on YouTube. So I would need to save the position of what I need to break, so where I need to spawn particles. So I'm going to create a private block position array, which would have to be 5 by 5. No, a 3 by 5 by 3. 3 times 5. Blah, 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 blah. Calculator. 3 times 5 times 3 is 45 block, 45 in size. And then its position. Okay, man. Enjoy your lunch, dinner, whatever it is, wherever you are. I think you're the one that said you're in Canada, right? Or was that a different person? I'm getting everyone confused. I'm sorry. Like, I don't get to see icons and stuff for who it is in this. It's just all the same icon. Alright, so that's that, and then in here in my super, I need to do this. Equals block position 45. Yep, terminate. Knew that was gonna happen. New block position. And then each of those block positions gets saved as we go through them. I can see the names, it's just I'm not always I'm trying to code and read a bunch of messages and it's having s'more Pop-Tarts. I've never had the s'more ones.
Not good.
Oh really?
I'm not a fan of them. They really don't taste like s'mores to me.
Oh. Well, I guess that wouldn't make much difference to me. I'm kind of indifferent to s'mores. They're okay. I don't have any problems with them, but they're not like, ooh, wow, I really want s'mores.
Well, I'm not like a huge fan of them myself, but if I'm gonna have them, I'd rather have the actual thing, you know?
Right.
That's just like they have a s'mores cereal as well that I'm not really that big a fan of. Like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna say that something is supposed to taste like something else, it should taste like that something else, not just garbage.
So I need to figure out where the position is within this array of... Or I could do it really simple for myself and just make this a three-dimensional array. It's probably even easier. Assuming Java does three-dimensional arrays.
Yes, it does.
So the first one would be a 3, and then a 5. There we go. So it would be j plus 1, so we're not going negative with it. K plus 1. And the other one would be I plus 2 equals BP. It's weird, 720p works on YouTube, but on Twitch it doesn't. At YouTube's compression, redoing the compression is a lot better. Plus, unless you're partnered on Twitch, they only stream what you give them. So I'm sending it in 720p, which is really weird why it doesn't work in 720. They don't recompress it to the different formats for whatever reason. So we actually need to set this to null. New video tile, fiery rants about s'more flavored cereal and s'more flavored Pop-Tarts.
It's alright. Keep picking on me. Keep poking the bear.
You're not watching the stream, right, Fiery?
Yeah, I'm watching the stream.
Oh, crap. J plus plus 4 int K.
What
What up, dog?
CZ's up.
What up, homie G-Dog?
My headphones cut out. What'd you say?
I said, what up, homie C-Dog?
C-Dog in the house.
The C to the Z dog.
It's actually snowing here for the first time. And it rained last night and it froze, so all the roads are like black iced over. So I was driving like just to get a coffee this morning, and like interstates shut down, all the overpasses are shut down, there's wrecks everywhere. I love winter in the South.
Yeah, it sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Death and destruction are all around.
I
Yeah.
mean, like a normal 5-minute drive took me half an hour.
I swear, you guys get a centimeter of snow and you act like the world's coming to an end.
No, there's not even snow on the ground, it's just black ice. That, in my opinion, that's more dangerous than when you can actually see snow, because I was driving out, I park in a parking garage, I was driving out and everybody was driving really slow on this bridge, and I was like, what's going on? Why is everybody driving so slow? I know it's cold, but there's no snow everywhere. So I like went to pass somebody, slid a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's why. That's why everybody's driving so slow.
And that's why there's so many accidents, because everybody in the South does that. Like, they don't get that. Like, it's just not their first thought, right?
There has to be a reason that everybody's driving so slow. And I didn't see an accident. I figured it was an accident.
And that's all of that to do this. If this is not
Canada's even worse than where I live, Enderman. I live in Wisconsin. That's bad enough.
Is everybody in Minecraft?
I think pretty much all of us are just watching tech stream. I'm not in Minecraft yet.
Nice. Okay.
I'm waiting for the latest update with this new machine, then I'm gonna go have some fun.
Oh, fire! It's gonna be a while. I don't even have it picking up the items right yet, and I don't have its bounding box right yet. There's a lot to do. It doesn't have a GUI for its inventory, right? It's not gonna be the next half hour even. And at some point, my wife's
take my dreams, Tech.
My headset got what? Did I lose you guys? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Hey. What's up?
What'd you say, Fire? It cut out.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't say anything, I don't think.
Well, you were mid-sentence. I can't remember what it was we were talking about. And then it cut out.
You're asking me? I'm like half awake yet. I'm barely on my second cup of coffee. It's not even enough to wake me up fully.
Come on, this should be working. I want to see bubbles. "21 degrees. But that's Celsius, right? So that's
No, it's Fahrenheit. I converted it.
Oh, okay.
Red, you're Austrian?
Yes, I am.
Nice. I'm jealous as heck, man. I'd love to come see that country.
Yeah, Austria has really good skiing, right?
It does, yeah, in the southern part.
Well, I was more thinking of like the mountainous views and...
Yeah, that's also in the south. I live in the north, quite up here.
Oh, okay. That looks pretty good right there, Tech. I mean, it's still breaking that block that's in front of it, but I mean, really, it works.
It does, but what I'm trying to do at the moment, Fiery, is make it spawn the particles. And it's not. Okay, well, I sent me a message, so she's gonna start getting ready, so I'm gonna have to go here soon. I don't know why the particle thing here isn't working. Like, I've got everything set up the way it should work. We're saving the block position to that variable.
Well, I mean, it really doesn't need a particle. I mean, it's just extra fluff.
Right, and there's nothing to stop me from... Go ahead.
I'd rather have it working and in before putting any extra fluff items on it. I mean, right?
Right. But this just should have worked.
Did you restart the client?
I did, and the code's getting called. Like, this piece of code's getting called because I did a breakpoint there. And that we know the block's breaking, so the blind before this is getting called. So it should be saving the particle position to that. Let's do both. It shouldn't spawn a particle until... Oh, I know what it is. Dang it, that's not gonna work. This only runs on the server. This only runs on the client. The client never knows what the position is. It's not gonna work. The only other thing I could think of is not when it actually breaks the block and just do it based on... Leave that in there, actually. Do it based on the position in the world and just make a dust particle that's always coming off of this thing when it spins. Basically. Because right now it spins all the time. Just for me testing, but I eventually will make it so that it only does it when you get in it. Because that's the right way to do it. Based on my other machines. So let's go back to what I wanted to do with this. Crap, I just fell in a hole. Let's dig down with this thing. See how far we can go down. See what kind of bugs it has. Actually get it underground, see how it mines when it's underground. Oh right, it's not breaking the right blocks. That's more important than its particles. Get block dot get block hardness.
Such a big mining machine which only breaks dirt.
Well, it's probably just because he didn't add it yet.
Right. For the moment, I'm going to check only for bedrockness. If it is not blocks dot bedrock. Womp. Goodbye. Everything in front of me. I love how it's still spitting the items out when I put it all the way up. Like it's the loader. Oh, this is gonna be interesting, guys. I'm already seeing something. Like, yeah, it's working great as a miner. But what about lighting?
Coming on.
What about lighting? You're gonna be in this tunnel and you're gonna have a ton of mobs spawning behind you.
Automatic torch placement? Are you thinking?
I'm not thinking that, but...
I mean, is that meant to be a tunnel boring machine?
Yes.
Continuous rock miner.
It's
I thought a continuous rock miner was like for a strip mine, not for a tunnel boring.
No, that's for inside of a mine. Like, the way it works, CZ, is it'll cut a path straight through, and then it'll just keep going in like a crisscross pattern, and leaving like 20-foot wide areas as support columns for the tunnel.
Need some.
But if that works, then why do TBMs exist?
That's for actually cutting tunnels for driving through and stuff.
This machine exists primarily for the tier 2 or tech 2 dimension.
This is the top tier 1 vehicle. You need this vehicle in order to be able to grind the tier 2 rock that's going to be in the new dimension. Without this vehicle, you will never progress further into the mod.
Yes. So with the night vision potion, you can actually see what you're doing.
Yeah, but then you still got the problem with the mobs.
Right. I put my head inside a block, but that's because I don't have the bounding box set for this thing. But it does a decent job actually mining. I mean, look how far we went there in just that short time.
Right. Which is something that I was hoping for. That and there's not really that many machines, CZ, that can actually handle actual rock in the mod.
Right. Right now, nothing can do stone except for maybe the excavator, but the excavator's not... It's cumbersome to control it to get any kind of efficiency out of it. Like, I wouldn't want to go mining underground with the excavator. It's just not gonna work. Okay, so let's see if we can get a bounding box set for this that's more appropriate. How big is it? No. Wow, the width is almost... I hate that machines are so long. Why, Minecraft? Why? At some point, I need to figure out how to not do a square bounding box for these machines. And then I can shut up and stop complaining. And have it actually rotated along with it. But for now, I guess I just need to make it like a half block wider. Or so. So let's try 3.5. It's probably too big. Or it's spot on. Now can I run into my own tunnel I make? Cool, it's even breaking crops. Oh no, water! Oh, that's interesting.
It breaks water and lava blocks, right?
Yeah, it's breaking the water. I was assuming it'd do the same.
Breaking water?
Yeah.
Well, we told it to break everything but bedrock, so it's doing exactly what we told it to.
Wow.
So...
It'll work for an ocean monument.
And... But it's going to get filled back in by the water blocks again. That's what's going on.
We'll split the ocean like Moses did or something.
Dot equal... Dot get material. The state, really? Okay, is it on that one then? That's deprecated. Get material. There we go. Equals materials dot water, and it does not equal water. There we go. And we'll want to do the same for lava. I know everyone's probably going to hate me for that, but we need to. Makes no sense that it would break that. Lava. And I'm also going to make a check to make sure there's not air, so we aren't constantly causing block updates for air being changed back to air. It's not or get block. Oh, really? Not this. Dot is air. Nope. Wait. Somewhere I've checked for air. I know I have. Where is it? Set block to air. World dot is air block with the block position, which is BP. So it is not air. There, that should be a little better on the world. No, I mentioned that is. It was more than just the Discord channel thing, it was every time you joined the voice too, dude. You're just, you come in and like say, oh, well, I do this on my channel, I do this on my channel, I do this, that. And I have no problem carrying on a conversation with you, but that was the only reason you came in sometimes. Because like 5 minutes later, you just leave. Okay, that's good. I need to fit the height, I guess. Let's see, so we're that high, we need to make it a little bit higher, for sure. 2.5, let's try 3.5. Of course that screws with the seat, but that's why I did it first. What you think about that, Fiery? Or whoever else is watching? It would actually be how many blocks high? So we're sitting on that block, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks basically. I'm gonna make it up to 4. Like it has to have a 4 block clearance. So if we're in this, I can drive through that because it's 4 blocks high. I should not be able to drive through that part. And I cannot. Here we go. So now the position of the rider is the next thing. Obviously need to go way down. Let's try like 0.5 Y offset. And I need the bagger's code for part of this. But that Y offset's pretty sneaking close. Bagger. Mounted Y offset, X offset, there we go. Where are you used? Right here, this stuff. Need to copy both of those methods, which is going to cause the game to restart. But I need them. terminate, and then let's restart the game, and we're going to change the X offset to like, let's try 1.5, and the Z offset to -0.4. What version am I making it for? I'm making it for 1.12.2. Let's see. Get out of the machine, please. What's going on? Okay, so that's kind of good. It went off to the side, which is what I wanted. But it's the wrong side, so we just need to make a negative sign there. There we go. And then let's get on top of this mountain or something so we're not in all those blocks all the time. Oh, dang, pretty close. 1.25 maybe? Well, that's a good left and right position. I think we need to come forward a hair. 0.2 maybe? I'm sitting in a seat, it looks like to me. Goodbye, tree. What you think of that view, Fiery?
Of the view?
Yeah.
That ain't bad. The bars could be slightly thinner, but
right. I think
it's still not horrible.
Right. I think the seat position's pretty stinking good though. Like where I'm at. Maybe bump up a little bit, but that's gonna mess with the view out those bars. Like this one would be in the way then, so I think I'm gonna keep it right here. The speed at which it moves up and down is pretty decent too. Like the cutter head. You definitely do have to go up and down with it though to be able to cut a path big enough for it to fit through. You can't just keep it in one position. You gotta get the up and the down both because it's 4 tall. Uh-oh, I might be stuck. There we go. So I was able to drive through that tunnel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't you make like a window or something? Because it makes sense to have a protection there, right? If you're in a dangerous mine.
Yeah, it's for protection from rocks falling on the operator.
Right.
That's the whole reason for it in the real world.
Okay, I think that's as far as I can take it today. Because like I said, I do have to get off here. Or at least right now today. I might be back later on. With it being the holiday, I'm not sure exactly what the plan's how it's gonna play out as far as tonight. If I'm not doing anything else though, I'll be on here. And my next thing I need to do is set it up so that you can access the inventory screen, and then I think that thing might be ready to go. As far as creative testing, we don't have the ability to craft it yet. So anyway, see you guys later tonight, maybe. If not, then tomorrow probably. So bye everybody.
See you everybody.